1. Introduction. My name is Dina. I am 28 years old. I live in a big city and I have a job that many people think is wonderful. I am a wedding planner. I help people plan the most important day of their lives. My office is always full of beautiful flowers, white dresses, and happy couples. They come to me with their dreams, and I help make those dreams real. I listen to their love stories, and I help them choose the perfect music, the best food, and the most beautiful place for their wedding. My life looks perfect on the outside. People see me and think I have everything. They see a successful young woman who is always surrounded by love and happiness. But I have a secret. My life is not as perfect as it looks. Behind my smile, I hide something that no one knows. I help people celebrate their love, but my own heart feels empty sometimes. I see so many happy endings, but I wonder if I will ever have my own. My job is to create perfect days for others, but my own days are not always so perfect. I feel lonely in a room full of people. This is my secret. I feel like I am watching a beautiful movie, but I am not in it. I am just the director. One sunny Saturday in June, I was working at a very big wedding. The bride was beautiful and the groom was very happy. Everything was perfect, just like I planned. I was checking the flowers on the tables when I saw him. He was the best man. His name was Mike. He was standing near the garden, talking to a friend. He turned and looked at me. He smiled, and his smile was warm and bright. It felt like the sun on a cold day. In that moment, something happened inside me. My heart started to beat very fast. It felt like it skipped a beat. It was a feeling I did not know before. It was strong and a little bit scary. I tried to look away and continue my work, but I could not stop thinking about his smile. I am a professional. I work at many weddings and I meet many people. But this was different. I felt a connection to him, a man I did not even know. I watched him during the party. He was funny and kind. He talked to everyone and made them laugh. I wanted to talk to him, but I was too shy. I just did my job and stayed in the background. But that day, that moment, was the start of everything. I did not know it then, but meeting Mike was going to change my life completely. My quiet, organized life was about to become something very different. My secret was about to get much bigger. 2. The man with a ring. 1 week after the wedding, I was working in my office. My office is a calm and pretty place. There are photos of happy couples on the walls and fresh flowers on my desk. I was looking at some new designs for wedding invitations when my assistant told me I had a visitor. When she said his name was Mike, my heart started to beat very fast. He walked into my office and gave me that same warm smile. I felt my face get hot. He said he was here for business. His company wanted to hire me to plan a wedding for a very important client. I asked him to sit down. I tried to act professional and calm. I opened my notebook and picked up my pen. We started to talk about the client's wedding. He talked about the date, the number of guests, and the budget. I listened carefully and made notes. I needed to focus. But then he reached for the glass of water on the table. When he moved his hand, I saw it. On the fourth finger of his left hand, there was a simple gold ring. It was shiny under the lights of my office. My heart sank. The pen in my hand felt heavy. He was married. Of course, a man like him was married. I felt so foolish. A sad, cold feeling moved through my body. A small voice in my head told me to be careful. It said, "Dina, stay away. This is not for you." I looked down at my notes, but I could not read the words. I had to be professional. This was my job. I took a deep breath and looked up at him with a small smile. Over the next few weeks, we had many more meetings. Each meeting was more difficult for me. I tried to keep our talks about work. We discussed flowers, music, and food, but it was hard to ignore my feelings. Mike was easy to talk to. He asked about my life and he listened to my answers. His presence was magnetic. When he was in the room, I felt a strong connection to him. I tried to fight it. He had a wife. He belonged to someone else. I plan weddings for people in love. I could not be the reason a marriage ends. But my heart did not listen to my head. My feelings for the man with a ring grew stronger every day. 3 dangerous meetings. Mike and I started to meet often. The client's wedding was big, so there were many things to plan. At first, our meetings were only about work. We talked about flowers, music for the party, and the food menu. I tried to keep our talks professional. I always looked at my notes and not at his smile. I remembered the gold ring on his finger. It was a small, cold reminder that he was not free, but it was difficult to stay distant. Slowly, our conversations began to change. One afternoon, we were choosing a cake. He asked me, "Dina, what is your biggest dream?" I was surprised by the question. It was not about work. I told him I wanted to have my own event company one day, a really big one. He listened carefully. Then he told me about his own dreams. He wanted to travel the world and see different places. We talked for more than 1 hour about our hopes for the future. We also talked about our fears. It felt easy to talk to him, like I knew him for a long time. He had a wonderful way of making me laugh. He told funny stories about his job and made jokes about the difficult clients we both had. With him, I laughed more than I had in years. My office, usually a quiet place for work, was now filled with the sound of my laughter. I started to look forward to our meetings. They were the best part of my day. One evening, we had a very long meeting. It was almost 9 o'clock when we finished. The building was empty and quiet. "I can walk you to your car," he said. I said yes. We walked together in the dark parking lot. The air was cool. When we reached my car, he did not say goodbye. He just stood there and looked at me. His eyes were serious. My heart started to beat very fast. He moved a little closer and whispered, "I wish I met you earlier." His words were soft, but they felt very loud in the quiet night. I did not know what to say. I just looked at him. A part of me was so happy to hear those words, but another part of me felt a deep sadness. He belonged to someone else. He opened my car door for me, and I got in. I drove home, but I did not really see the road. That night, I could not sleep. I lay in my bed and thought about his words again and again. "I wish I met you earlier." I knew then that I was in trouble. I was falling in love with a married man. It was dangerous and wrong, but my heart did not want to listen. 4. Whispers and secrets. Our secret connection grew much stronger. It was not just about work anymore. We found reasons to see each other, like having coffee in small, quiet cafes where nobody knew us. We talked for hours. After our work meetings, we often took long walks in a park. The best part of my day was at night when he called me. We had long phone calls, and his calm voice was the last thing I heard before I went to sleep. During one of our long talks, Mike told me about his marriage. His voice was low and full of sadness. He explained that his marriage was broken. "It has been for a long time," he said quietly. "My wife and I are like strangers. There is no love, no real conversation." He looked so unhappy when he spoke about his home. He said that being with me was the only time he felt true happiness. He said I made him feel alive again. I listened carefully to every word. I wanted to believe him. A big part of me needed to believe every word. I wanted to be his happiness and the reason for his smile. When we were together, the world outside did not matter. It was just us. He made me laugh easily, and he always listened to my dreams. I felt so safe with him. I started to imagine a life with him, a life without secrets. But then I would see the gold ring on his finger, and the sad reality would return. But the happy moments always ended. Every time he looked at his watch, my heart felt heavy. He had to go home. He had to return to his other life and his wife. Watching him walk away was the hardest part of my day. It was a painful reminder that he was not mine. I was also very scared that someone would see us together. I thought about my job and my reputation. What would my clients think? What would my friends say? My own love story was a secret I had to hide. I felt like I was living a life full of whispers and lies. In the day, I was Dina, the professional wedding planner. At night, I was the other woman hiding in the shadows. I had to hide my phone and be careful about where we went. Our love felt beautiful when we were alone, but it was a heavy lie when we were apart. I loved him so much, but this secret was starting to feel like a prison. I did not know how much longer I could live this way. 5. The wife finds out. It was a Thursday evening. I was at a big hotel working on the decorations for a weekend wedding. The room was full of white flowers and gold ribbons. I felt happy with my work. Suddenly, a woman walked into the hall. She was tall and wore an expensive coat. She did not smile. I did not know who she was. She walked straight to me. "Are you Dina?" she asked. Her voice was cold. "Yes, I am," I said. "I am Mike's wife," she said. My heart stopped. My happy feeling was gone. I felt cold and scared. Her eyes were full of anger. She looked at me like I was a terrible person. "Stay away from my husband," she said quietly, but her words were sharp. "You are a wedding planner. You should help people's lives, not destroy them." My hands started to shake. I could not say anything. I just stood there, feeling small. She looked at me for one more second, then she turned and walked away. I went home, but I could not forget her face or her words. I felt so ashamed. I sat on my bed and cried for hours. My pillow was wet with tears. I thought about Mike. I thought about our secret coffee dates and long talks. It was all a mistake. His wife was right. I was wrong. I thought, this is the end. I can never see him again. My heart felt like it was broken into 1,000 pieces. I loved him, but our story was over. I cried all night until I had no more tears. The next day, I went to my office. I was tired and my eyes were red. I did not want to see anyone. But then my office door opened. It was Mike. My heart jumped. He saw my face and knew something was wrong. "Dina, what happened?" he asked. His voice was soft and full of worry. I started to cry again. "Your wife," I said between tears. "She came to see me yesterday. She told me to stay away from you." I expected him to be angry or to say goodbye, but he did not. He walked to my desk and took my hand. His hand was warm. He looked into my eyes. "Listen to me," he said. "I don't care what anyone says. I love you." His words were a surprise. They felt like the sun after a long, dark night. All my fear disappeared for a moment. He was not leaving me. He was choosing me. In that moment, I knew my love for him was stronger than my fear. It was dangerous, but his love felt real. I held his hand tightly. I loved him more than ever, no matter the risk. 6. The scandal explodes. Our secret was not a secret anymore. One morning, my phone had many messages from friends. Someone took a picture of Mike and me having dinner. They posted it online. Suddenly, everyone knew about us. The world felt cold and unfriendly. My friends started to act strangely. They did not call me like they did before. When I saw them, they whispered to each other and then became quiet. It was very painful. Work became a terrible place to be. My clients, who once trusted me with their happy day, now looked at me with disappointment. 2 clients called to cancel their weddings. They said they could not work with me. My good name was gone. The picture was everywhere. It showed Mike and me at a small, quiet restaurant. We were holding hands across the table. People on the internet wrote horrible comments. They called me a bad person. They said I was destroying a family. Each word felt like a stone. I felt so much shame that I did not want to leave my apartment. My business, my dream, was falling apart. I worked for years to build my company. Now, because of my love for Mike, everything was in danger. The phone in my office was silent. No new clients called. My life, which looked so perfect, was now a complete mess. I loved Mike very much, but this love was destroying me. I cried every night until I had no more tears. I felt lost and alone. Was our love worth all of this pain? I was not sure anymore. One evening, I told Mike we had to meet. My voice was small and broken when I spoke. "You have to leave me," I said. "We cannot continue like this. I am losing everything because of this." Mike looked at me, his eyes full of hurt. He took both of my hands in his. "No," he said firmly. "I will not leave you, Dina. I love you too much. I will fix this. I promise you I will make everything right again. It does not matter what it costs me." He held me close, but I did not know if his promise was enough to stop the storm. 7. A new beginning. The months after the scandal were very hard. I felt lost and alone. Then, one evening, Mike came to my apartment. He looked tired, but his eyes were clear and serious. He took both of my hands. "Dina," he said, "I have made a choice. I cannot live this lie anymore. I am going to file for divorce." His words were quiet, but they were the strongest words I had ever heard. A small light of hope started to grow inside me. The next few months were not easy. The divorce was a long and painful process. There were many arguments between Mike and his wife. Sometimes he came to my apartment with sad eyes after a difficult phone call. There were many meetings with lawyers that seemed to last forever. The newspapers wrote more stories about us. They used our pictures and said terrible things. It felt like the scandal was bigger than before. Some days, I wanted to give up. I thought the pain would never end. But through all of it, Mike was my rock. He never gave up on us. When I cried, he held me close and told me everything would be okay. When I was afraid to go outside, he held my hand and walked with me. He always said, "We will get through this together, I promise you." He showed me what real love was. It was not just about happy moments. It was about staying strong together during the bad times. He never let go of my hand, and that gave me strength to continue. Slowly, very slowly, things started to change. The angry comments online became less frequent. People in our town found new stories to talk about. My phone stopped ringing with calls from strangers. The dark clouds that followed us for so long began to move away. The world felt quiet again. The storm was finally over. For the first time in a very long time, I felt free. I could breathe deeply again. We could go for a coffee and sit by the window without hiding. We could hold hands in the park, and nobody looked at us with angry eyes. The heavy weight of our secret was gone. It was a wonderful feeling. After so much pain and so many tears, we were finally just a man and a woman in love. We started to plan our future together, a future without lies or fear. It was our new beginning. 8. Love wins in the end. 2 years later, my life was very different. The difficult times were in the past. The sun was shining on a beautiful morning. It was a perfect day for a wedding. It was my wedding. I was not the wedding planner today, busy with flowers and music. I was the bride. I looked at myself in the mirror. I wore a beautiful white dress, simple and elegant. My heart was full of happiness. The old fear was gone completely. I walked down the aisle slowly. Soft music played. My friends and family were there, sitting on both sides. They all smiled at me with warm eyes. There were no more whispers, no more angry looks. Only love and support filled the room, and then I saw him at the end of the aisle. Mike was waiting for me. He wore a dark suit, and his eyes were bright with emotion. He had the same amazing smile on his face, the smile I saw the first day we met. It was a smile that promised happiness and a new life together. When our eyes met, I knew everything was finally right. My heart felt calm. I stood next to him in front of everyone. His hand found mine, and he held it tight. His hand was warm and strong. It felt safe. It felt like home. We listened to the words about love and marriage. These words were for us now, not for my clients. When it was my turn to speak, my voice was clear and strong. "I do," I said. The 2 words were simple, but they meant everything to me. They meant the end of a long, hard journey. They meant the start of a beautiful new one without any lies. Mike said, "I do too." His voice was full of love and promise. We put gold rings on each other's fingers. We were husband and wife. Everyone in the room cheered and clapped. It was the happiest sound in the world. Later that day, during our celebration, I looked at Mike as he talked with our guests. I thought about our story. It was not a simple love story from a book. It was messy. It was painful sometimes. We had many secrets, and we faced a big public scandal. Many people judged us without knowing our hearts. But we never gave up on our love. Mike fought for us. He made a difficult choice, and he chose me. He showed me that true love is worth fighting for. It is not always easy or perfect. Sometimes love comes with big challenges. But when it is real, it is strong enough to win against anything. Our love found its way through all the darkness. This was our happy resolution and the beautiful beginning of the rest of our lives together.
Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.